As y'all know, the Minding Your Business podcast comes to you from the R.G. Brooks Group. Listen, the R.G. Brooks Group started June of 2013. We provide a redefinition of business and financial services. So whether you're looking to increase your brand, whether you're looking to connect within the city, connect from a networking standpoint, whether you're looking at leadership talent development for your company. And listen, I've had a chance to work with a really good company this week from a leadership talent coaching standpoint, and that's really needed out here. So if you want us to be able to come in, I have over 16 years experience in kind of banking, financial leadership, all the way up to the executive level. And listen, your leaders need coaching. You can't just hire people and just stick them in management roles. You can't just make people executives because they're good widget makers. You need to help them develop the kind of critical thinking skills that it takes to be successful up here and really drive culture within your organization. And we have the team to help you do that at the R.G. Brooks Group. I'm actually studying, many of you know, I'm studying for the state exam, mortgage originator exam, and it's going to be on and popping when I pass that test next Tuesday. It's going to be on and popping.
Right.
Y'all go hear me scream. I'm not even going to be on Facebook Live. And y'all go hear me screaming about that. So I'm really excited about that and working hard. And I'm looking to bring on relationship managers to be part of that team. I'm not hiring employees. Let me say that again. I'm not hiring employees. I want people to have their own brand. I want to help you get licensed. And I just want to be the supplier. That's all. There's no difference. It's all the same game. Y'all can come out the streets. Look, I'll bring you out the streets and let's play, the real game, right? So I'm looking for relationship managers that want to come on. It's not just about making money and all that. You're going to do that. But more importantly, I want you to be able to develop your own brand and then do the same thing. Bring in other people to be successful. So all that with the R.G. Brooks Group. If we can add value to something that you're looking to do, give me a call, 901-808-3801. That's 901-808-3801. Or visit us at www.thergbrooksgroup.com. We're at episode 45. I'm really excited. A lot of podcasts, y'all, don't make it to episode 45. We started this last August of 2017. We've been rolling. Thank you for those that are listening to the podcast. As y'all know, you can find the podcast www.themybpodcast.com is where you can find it, or anywhere you get your podcast content, whether it's iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, any of those places. Get it, share it, like it, send me the good, bad, and ugly, which y'all do. I know y'all are good at that. Send me the good, bad, and ugly because I want to improve it, want to get better. There's no perfect system to this. And, there's no pride of ownership for me. I didn't get this far by having thin skin. Neither did this gentleman to the right. So I want to introduce him. So you got to have thick skin out here. So I appreciate the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I learn from it all. Again, episode 45, the Minding Your Business podcast. And you know what we got to do? We got to start the music, baby.
What we do here is go back.
All right. Well, listen, thank y'all so much again. It is Friday, May the 4th of 2018. We're here in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm your host, Champ Ron, the Minding Your Business podcast. And, we hit a little bit of rain today, but it's still warm. We got past winter time and all that kind of thing. Listen, it's been a crazy week, locally, statewide, and nationally. Of course, from a trend standpoint, a lot of y'all been wearing out social media, worrying about Mr. West. Some of y'all can't even have go to bed. Y'all waiting to see what Kanye West. Some of y'all ain't slept all week. Y'all waiting on Kanye West and what he gonna say, or what they said about Bill Cosby, or anybody else that y'all ain't never gonna meet. And if you do meet them, they ain't gonna give a damn about you when you do meet them. So I haven't really jumped into any of that too much this week. I've been entertained. Usually broke folk are good at entertaining you and keeping up with all the details. And so for those of us that are out really kind of doing things and grinding and working, we got plenty of outlets outside of even just TMZ to give us information. A lot of people that follow that kind of stuff. And, I'm being facetious. It's nothing, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But, we're not going to talk much about that too much on this particular podcast. But, we want to get into some other things beyond that. Locally we had the primary election on Tuesday. And it was a little disappointing, and we're going to get into that. It was a little disappointing that more people didn't get out to participate in that particular process, particularly given everything that's going on, as you see, not just from Washington, but as you see statewide here in Tennessee and even locally here to Shelby County. It's a little disappointing that more people didn't go out to really participate. And I've heard from a lot of people that are fed up with some things and whatnot. But I was hoping that many people would get out and turn that, Wakanda Forever energy, hashtag Wakanda Forever energy. I was hoping y'all would convert that into getting in your car and or catching an Uber or jumping on the bus and going and participating in the process with the power that you have. And it doesn't, only 14% that's been reported, assuming that's an accurate number, about 14% of registered voters came out. And that's, and I know some of the positions, they're not the sexy positions and things like that. There's not President of the United States. Y'all will jump up and run for that. But, there's other stuff going on too, right, that are much more impactful to your day-to-day life. And I was a little disappointed that we didn't get out there to do that. If y'all on the podcast, I got the Facebook Live going. So my cousin Greg Smalls, what's going on, boy? Greg, you all over the country, man. You like Waldo. Scotty Lackland, how you doing? Elgin, how you doing? Julius, Jew Harris on the, it's serious when Jew gets on the podcast. It must be something going on. Jew want to get on the podcast. He done made a bucket of money. It's Friday. He got paid. Right. Nah, I'm messing with you, Jew. What's up, brother? Listen, let me do this. I want to introduce, sitting to my right is, I had an opportunity to meet this man a few years ago, and I've told y'all about when I had the co-working place downtown Entre Memphis, down on Madison, and I had an opportunity to do business with this gentleman. He was referred to me by a good contact of mine, and we had an opportunity to do business, and he did a really good event that day. And it was great working with him and been able to follow him and had a chance to even see his most recent campaign and how he did that and ran that with the integrity that you look for, from young brothers these days. And I want to introduce Jamal Whitlow, who's sitting here with me as my special guest, man. Jamal, thank you so much, brother, for joining me.
Yo, hey, man, I appreciate you letting us on here, inviting us. I know we were trying to get something in the works early on, but now we finally got a chance to do that, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
it's a perfect time.
Yeah, it is. It's a perfect time, man. And man, let's jump into it, man. I guess, for those that, maybe they've been chilling or they've been worrying about Kanye so much that they haven't been keeping up with folk right here in their own backyard. Right. I'm gonna wear them out about Kanye. I'm gonna give them a hard time, man. But for those who hadn't had a chance to maybe know much about your background and things like that, share with the people kind of who you are and kind of what you're about and kind of how you came into business. I mean, for many of us, we know for years that you've been doing, various things in the community and, working business, working some of the political landscape and things like that and doing some community edification kind of things, brother, man. So kind of share some of that with people, kind of, who's Jamal Whitlow?
Okay, cool. Well, I started out really like a promoter in college, like just hosting events with my friends, and they really encouraged me to do it because I was like, yeah, all right, this may work. Yeah. And then I fell in love with it. And I think my philanthropy work in college, serving with like student organizations and things like that, I got a chance I realized like, man, you can do both. Like,
right.
I can make this social. Like I can give people something that they want. It's no longer dry. moved back to Memphis after going to UT Chat for a while.
Okay.
Threw some parties, got established here, and just decided it was time for something different. I joined the Urban League board.
Okay.
I was a social and culture chair for 2 years, and that's where it started. We created this whole we didn't create. We just advanced this whole YP Connect thing, which was this Black strong social networking event that happened every Tuesday once a month, and we got it in.
Yeah,
we got it in. We met a lot of people. We socialized what it meant to be Black and a young professional in the city. Really made some segues with their organization. We created some genuine events. After the 2 years, and throwing events with other people, I wanted to create a brand that I felt like that represented what I wanted to see people have, and that's when we came up with Privilege.
Okay, yes, I was asking you about Privilege because some people they see it and things like that. They may not really know exactly what it is, man. So they don't quite get it. They just see it. Privilege. What's that?
Right.
I'm privileged. Yeah.
Right. But that's the truth. That's the truth. It evolved. We started with this whole concept of something that's for everybody has no value.
Okay.
Right. And they were invite-only events, and they weren't invite-only because it wasn't for a pretentious reason. It was. We knew the lifestyle that young professionals wanted. We're sitting at bars, we're at networking events, and people are telling us, "Hey, man, we just want something cool, laid back that we can kind of do, chill at." That still fits the maturity level. We partner with a lot of organizations and a lot of people in the beginning, trying to do the events. Well, doing the events with hosts. Trying to get nonprofits to host the event.
Right.
We do all the work. We just want you to bring your people, and we want to, vice versa. We want to expose those urban professionals that we have to your organization, to your leadership programs, or what you have, or what your business is that you have.
Right.
But we knew it's not going to work if you sell it as this whole. And there's no disrespect, but it's just a different vibe that we wanted to go for. Mm-hmm. And we knew that the urban professionals were where we wanted to go, and this is what people said they wanted. Yeah. I think somewhere it got lost in the whole thing. Who he think he is? Right. Who Jamal don't think he is? I think some people took it, and then it's marketing. So you live and you learn as well. So I think that some of that played a role into people's perception of how Privilege went and what they thought about it.
Yeah.
And then we transitioned into the whole we work, we give, we party piece, because I felt like that further explained, like I mentioned, I love to have fun. I work every day, and I understand the concept of giving and trying to create events that centered around those three concepts and really hone in on this being a lifestyle brand. It's not necessarily it is the cool kids, but it's not the cool kids, right? You know what I'm saying? It's these folks he's at the bar having a great time, we kicking it, and also Monday, he's sitting outside because he's talking about, hey, the city talking about doing this, and I ain't fooling with it. We're still engaged though.
Exactly.
We're not. I'm not. This brand just isn't one dimensional. And it's here to fit everybody. I know politics isn't everybody's thing, but we wanted a mechanism where people can at least, if you go here, tap into it, you'll figure out, you can at least be up to date what's going on, and it's not too heavy for you.
Right.
It's
not so heavy that it's just a bunch of back and forth.
Right, and you're
beliefs and sides and this and that.
It's not CNN.
Right. Fox News and that.
This your boy Jay Whitlow.
Right.
This is who this is. I got you. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
That's it. I was able to do. I designed a 4-week weekend event for high school students with Shelby County Schools. We got contracted out to do 4 leadership conferences, and what we did was just a Saturday. 4 Saturdays. We did them at several different schools. But what was cool about, I called everybody in my network, was hey, y'all want to come and host a workshop? Let's just. It wasn't about who were the popular people, what made it pop. It was about having genuine, relatable young professionals in front of these young people that could be oh, okay, they're cool. Yeah, they cool. Once they feel like they cool, or you cool, or you understand them, they'll open up. They'll talk to you. Yeah, that
relatability.
More. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so we pride ourselves on that. And that's what we want to do. A lot of people. I look at it. I'm sorry, I'm probably going on and on.
No, you good, man. You keep rolling, brother. Keep rolling. For sure.
Well, no, I'm just explaining. I get excited to be able to tell the story about Privilege and where we come from. But to the campaign, worked 5 years in the county clerk's office. I started entry level, and I knew then when I realized like how you become the boss. Like, oh, okay, I can do this. I'm gonna be the one that comes in and figures out, asks all the right questions. I got promoted 2 times in those 5 years, in a management role. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew then. And then when I decided to leave the county, I wanted to go to corporate America and establish some different type of relationships and get some more experience in a fast hustle and bustle environment. And then a year and a half, I took a hiatus from work. I quit my job. I was like, man, I want to try this out. Yeah. And we did it for a year, and I started working for the city of Memphis with youth people and young professionals. And now I work with ex-offenders, trying to help them find jobs and their place in peace. And so this is where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where you at, man. No, man, I knew you were into a lot, man. So I knew that was kind of a loaded question. Right. And your boy Chris Eagleston, your boy, he said, man, make sure I ask you the hard questions. So
and that's good. So, you know, you got you want leadership to be intelligent to answer hard questions. So right. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So he making sure he getting on me now because he making sure that he's saying what did he say? Hold on, let me get back because it's scrolling so wild. He said went from partying on rooftops to running for office. I know why. People keep chiming in. So yeah. Chris, my guy, man. He's been on several episodes back, man. He gave a really good interview, man. So yeah, that's definitely my guy, Chris Eagleston out there and representing Memphis all the way out in L.A. But man, you talked about several things, man. As Jamal, in terms of the campaign, and then a lot of people didn't know about you working with felons, ex-felons, things like that. Mm-hmm. A lot of people may not have known that part about you, man. Because we were talking earlier. It's like people, whatever's big and sexy kind of thing is sometimes what people gravitate towards, and a lot of that work is not easy. So, man, how did you specifically get into that? Because that's kind of different from setting up parties and kind of connecting people. You know what I mean? So,
well, it is and it's not, right?
Okay.
And so I've never had just one job.
Yeah.
In a sense, like, and I never wanted to pigeonhole my career. I think it's the beauty of us being young and in the climate that we're in. We can just do whatever we want to do, really.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
We can do whatever we want to do, and as long as it's in a servant capacity, like, and I really get to, like, man, there's a fulfillment I get out of helping people out. Like, I don't know what it is. I just like it. Right? Yeah. It just makes me. I can sleep good at night.
You feel good about it. Yeah.
To do something for someone else.
Right.
And I was working at Wynn, and they had a grant opportunity to work on, and I accepted the challenge, and I said, yes, I want to work on the project. And it's been one of the hardest projects I've ever worked on.
Really?
Success is slow, and it's not due to talent, it's just due to the landscape and the culture. And you realize, like, man, and this is being biased, but it just is what it is. Like, it is so difficult, one, to be a black man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nonetheless, a black man who has made a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, some of us just keep making mistakes. Now, that's just what you do.
Right.
But some of us really just made a bad decision out of desperation, or just not having, and just not understanding, and just not having enough influence early on to take that. And what 5-year-old can you blame for not having positive influence around them? Yeah. You cannot blame it.
No, you can't. No.
And so, and when you see they come out and they're trying, and we can find a job at, no knock to Starbucks, but they making $9. You just took this drug dealer off the street from getting paid, right. And now you want to tell this brother you can give him $9 or $7 to make coffee,
right?
For
as
some
a barista,
people.
right?
But then, or you tell me in order to throw boxes here, I've got to have a clean record for 7 years. So now I got to wait 7 years before I can even get a job making $10 an hour throwing some boxes, which is the bare minimum. Like,
right. But
I was selling drugs.
You
like,
limited the option.
Right.
Yeah, you limited
so
people's options.
What do you want? And it's oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, and you can't do nothing but want to fight. And
well, oftentimes, man, they're, like you say, the ones that want to help themselves. They're so limited in opportunities, and nobody really wants to F with them too much, and then they're just kind of out there. I mean, I've seen it in my own family, man, where they legitimately want to do better, but they're not given any options.
Think about shelters for black people, black men. Like, you have shelters for women and children. Mm-hmm. Men aren't allowed in those shelters.
Right.
Like, you're more likely to give a woman some money than you are to give a man some money. Out of sometimes it may be fear of safety, or maybe whatever reason it is, but we hold men to a higher standard than we hold anybody else when it comes to doing things, and it's hard, man. It's hard on them.
Yeah,
it's hard on them for real. And so I love this space. I love this work. I love trying to connect with people that want to help better this work, and I think with my experience in there, it will be the obligation of us small businesses, to really figure out how to make this happen and really want to give opportunities to people, regardless of their background. Like, our communities need unbiased love and attention right now. We have to be dangerously unselfish about the things that we do with each other.
Definitely. And you touched on something from the business piece that I want to get to in a second, Jamal. And again, this is Jamal Whitlow as my special guest. I want to talk some about the campaign.
Okay.
So with the county clerk campaign, and listen, in my opinion, I've already shared this with you. I've shared this with people. I'm on the record as saying, I love the energy that your campaign brought. And I felt that it was different. There was certainly maybe some opportunities, and you probably know some opportunities that maybe came, that you would do this different or that different. But what I liked was the connectivity to the people, and I felt that it was authentic in terms of just its overall, approach. Because for you, coming from the area that you're in, which, like you say, it is service, but then some people may not quite make that tie. But you're not coming in from this family of politics and things like that, so you kind of have the deck kind of stacked against you a little bit. But I felt that you energized, you gave some energy in a lot of areas. So I commend you for that. What I want to start with from a question standpoint is, I think many people outside of certain positions that are in the news a lot and kind of get a lot of fanfare and things like that, they don't really know what the county clerk does. So what does the county clerk do?
So the county clerk is responsible. One, it's like a tax collector, right? Okay. If you could say it was the head cashier for Walmart or Target, everything comes. A lot of the tax dollars that we collect in our city comes to the county clerk's office, and that's by way of motor vehicle registration. So when you're down there registering your vehicle for the first time and paying your taxes, or you're just renewing your tag, or if you're getting a marriage license, or when you do your business tax for the county and the city, that's also collected in the business department.
Right.
There's a hotel tax that it collects. And the unique thing about the hotel tax is the county clerk has the ability to tax every hotel on every hotel night stay in the county. So there's money, but I also, what you also realize, there's so much money coming into this office from different ways that you have no idea. And so the real charge is, and there's a charge to the people hey, this is streamlined where the money's coming from. When you see this big budget, this is the money that comes from this big budget. Right. Other than that, and the county clerk is responsible for 7 locations, over 80 employees, and so it's also responsible for maintaining and upgrading the management process in which we bring in these revenues to the state level. We have a state obligation, and we have county obligations and city obligations. Bartlett, Collierville, Germantown, Arlington, Cordova, Collierville. There's a municipality obligation to those counties to those cities as well, and it all comes through the county clerk office. Yeah.
So see, a lot of people didn't know that. So right now you're just educating people, whether they listen to the podcast, they're on Facebook Live.
Right.
They don't know that. Some of them that did go to vote went to vote for that, not even knowing what the person's there to even do. So I think there's got to be more of that, some kind of way, because a lot of times people won't do the research on their own. So I'm glad you were able to define it and kind of educate people. So from your standpoint, and of course everybody kind of knows the results of it. What do you think kind of happened through the process through Tuesday? They said that it's been said that 14% of registered voters came out. So that means a lot of people didn't come out to participate.
A lot of people didn't come out.
Yeah.
Right. We look at 30,000 or 41. I think it's right, 41,000 something voters, and we look at it like, yeah, that's a lot of people. It's not a lot of people. But there's almost 800 some thousand people in the county.
Right.
In the county, it's like,
yeah,
bro, what was y'all doing? Well, I guess controversial. Like, politics isn't important. Like, it's a failed. It has the appearance of a failed process.
Yeah.
And so I think the younger people are, the less engaged they become, because life is so fast-paced for us now.
Yeah.
Right. People are so driven into self-gratification, and like we can do things on our own. And like some of us that have made it are like good with our lifestyles and good with our friends. And like, so of course when you have money or you're wealthy, like it's even harder to get them engaged in something that seems to be so little or minute that has nothing to do with your end result. So you think.
Yeah.
So you think.
Right.
But these people that get appointed to do stuff in certain offices can make it harder for you to navigate as a successful business person as you want, or when we talk about...
even if you just said, with the... when you define what the county clerk does, when you say in revenues, all that revenue stream that comes in, and you have to have the right kind of person, because you mentioned not only does all that revenue come in, but you're managing 80 people, which means then this needs to be someone that's got... some track record and understanding of leadership and how to motivate people and how to inspire people and things like that. So, like you said, even though people may feel removed because of their status one way or the other, or maybe they're a little more disenfranchised, or they're just, like you say, fed up with the system, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of impact of an office like that on everybody's life. Because if that individual isn't what they need to be,
right,
that could have a huge impact across many fronts when it comes to people. Not only the people that you manage, but if that money, if that revenue doesn't get routed in the proper way,
the system process is broken, because when all else fails, when everyone else has gone home, and your county clerk has to start and figure out what the problem is, but they don't know.
What to do. Right. They don't know where to do or where to start or where to identify.
Like, what do we do now? Like, this is like, what do we do now?
And people are counting on this person, because even if they don't know it, right?
Because what happens if you mess up?
Right.
The state can come back and take the county clerk's office, right?
Yeah.
So now we would have lost something to a state, and just again get one of those other shams. Like, God, look at Shelter County.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, that whoever wins that is going to be, that's going to happen. But there's a that's a chance we take without being strategic and intentional about people we put in positions to do a job.
Yeah.
Like, this is an administrative job. Do I think people can do it? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But it's at what capacity do you start? Yeah. And at what capacity do you grow? Man, I think when we look at Memphis, and I think the only thing I think about when we see the same politicians over a certain amount of time, it makes me think about progress.
Yeah. And so let's stay there, because, you do a lot of networking. I do a lot of networking. A lot of y'all that are on Facebook Live, a lot of y'all listening to this podcast do significant networking. Realist just joined, so Willis Sanders, what's going on? My wife, Kimberly Brooks, so glad you could go on, baby.
Realist was a
Jimmy,
good supporter of us, man.
Yeah, y'all, Regent, Realist, he's been in support of a lot of things, man, positive in the community, man. And then Adrian Henning, shout out to you, man, for joining it. Guy, one of my contacts in the real estate business. But, let's kind of stay there, because people, it's interesting that, Jamal, people want change, right? They look at,
right.
They look at the White House, right? And however people feel about that now, or how they felt about it then, there's a large growing mouthpiece for change there. And I think some of that's trickling down where you're seeing like Paul Ryan looking like, I need to kind of get out this game. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe certainly there's other reasons.
Right.
Others on certain sides of the political spectrum are looking to, kind of, where they're going to make moves, because some of it they feel like they have to defend the White House. And some of that may be a challenge, having to defend that to constituency and things like that. But people want change. They're hungry for change. There's so many movements going on. Things are hashtag now. Everything's out for the public. It's out there. But then when it comes down to actually doing the act, people just, I don't know. People are missing in action. They don't care or what. But when it comes out, it's not just, I'm not just talking solely about voting. I mean, there's that piece of it, and then there's everything around in terms of engaging in the community and supporting candidates and supporting business and things like that people just like, they want it, like you say, you talk about the definition of insanity, right?
Right.
And that comes into play here. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. What's your take on that, man?
We beat the pavement. We knocked on doors. We engaged people.
Yeah.
We educated people. We may not have the resources to get to everybody, but that's what it takes. It takes something authentic, and it takes something real.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to happen. Like nobody buys this facade anymore. Like people are not buying this. Not your up and coming voters.
Yeah.
Like when we think about voting, we really do have to focus on the 18-year-olds, right? We have to focus on millennials, because the future of what we're doing is going to lie in their hands. And like, sort of, the more we continue to do this name game deal, like, the less we are securing what it looks like when we leave. And so when we also talk about legacy, like, what we doing here?
Right.
Like, are we trying to leave a legacy with Regions Bank, or are we trying to leave a legacy with the people? Like, which one are we trying to do?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Forget the bank. Like, we're trying to leave a legacy for the people.
Yeah.
And it's about, there is the extra work. We had to get out there. We had to start a campaign and it was a phase. Teach people about the county clerk's office.
Right. Which you did.
Straight
That's
up.
another thing. That's why I asked you to define it, because one of the things I thought you did that I haven't really seen many candidates do is define what the office is. Because people run for all, they have different reasons they run.
Different
because
reasons.
the people don't know exactly what to do, it's easy to come back and say, well, I'm going to go to Washington and I'm going to tell Donald Trump that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That ain't what you do.
That ain't what you do at all.
Or I'm going to go, I'm a county clerk, but I'm going to go and I'm going to change the education curriculum.
Right.
And
I'm
then
going to
people
go challenge why you don't have air in your school.
Right.
What?
Yeah, that's not even what you do. But people don't know.
Right,
and so you get applause for stuff that...
You get a hoorah.
Yeah, you bullshit, right? You know what I mean? You know you are. So that's why I appreciate that. And that's why the things I liked about your campaign was that.
You got to be real with people, man.
Yeah, I mean...
We can't fake the funk. Like, one of my favorite things from Lauryn Hill is, like, she said, reality, fantasy is what people want, but reality is what people need. And, we're talking unplugged. I was talking 2003, like, game ain't changed. People don't, it sound good and it feel good.
Right.
But that hard work sound a little different from what feel good. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that hard work is different.
We got to get out here and hold a sign for this boy to win.
Yeah.
And no, shouts out to everybody. I believe, yes, we got 7,600 votes. Fine. But we had 7,600 people that were intentional about going to vote for a young man with a vision and a purpose, who probably didn't know who I was, outside of, like, this work that we've done with the campaign, and, like, for everybody who has supported me throughout the years and comes and do it. We just, long story short, we've got to keep going. We can't change this game overnight. Right. But we have to continue. Like, if anything, I want this race, and I want people who text and call me to say, Jamal, man, you ran a strong, good race. I want them to not be bitter, but I want them to be encouraged to get out here and do just a little bit more, because if you wanted me to win for the right reasons, and you feel like someone won without the right reasons, then that means we all got to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because if it was that important to you, I mean, since it's that important to you, like, we got to, like, not only do you want me to keep going, but I need you to keep going too.
Yeah.
Like, we got to keep, when you at the bar with your friends, a conversation, how many of us had those conversations? You talked about, we got elections coming up, you're going to vote for?
Right.
Like, we're going to go hoop after we go to after we go vote, or we're going to go vote and then we'll go meet up for lunch. Mm-hmm. Like, we've got to be so intentional.
Right.
I was reading, I'm not gonna get off on that tangent, but keep going.
No. Yo, keep going, man. Keep going. No, man.
I was reading about, just doing some reading on Dr. King's. I read the Give Us the Ballot, mm-hmm. right? And we wrote a blog about giving us the ballot and like what it looks like to have individuals on there. And that whole movement was about giving us a voice.
Yeah.
And like, so I get it. It sometimes seems like on this federal level, that, hey, your vote don't matter. We've seen some questionable things in the past that makes us feel like our vote doesn't matter.
Right.
But do all in all, the origin of it is you got to realize that that there is some power here, because there was a struggle in the South mm-hmm. to give you colored people the chance to put it on paper. Because if you put it on paper, there was a chance that you was going to get people in there. And why is that? Because those who have the numbers know who the majority is. Mm-hmm. And if the majority gets the right to do something, the majority gets to dictate what the law of the land is.
Right.
And so I encourage us to not talk about being the majority. And this is not even just being black. Like, this is just about us being Memphians, and this is about taking our city and our county to the next level. Stop the BS. We've seen Atlanta and we've seen Nashville roll past us. Mm-hmm. And yes,
especially over the last few decades. Yeah,
I will contribute it to race, but I will contribute to internal struggles as well, because this is probably going to be another controversial thing that people are not going to believe in, but we talk about black on black crime, but we do not talk about these black barriers that we put up in front of each other. Like how we stop ourselves and each other from getting what we need. Like, we part of this. We are part of this problem that never gets addressed on a national scale. And like, when some people try to do it, we try to chastise them and tell them, no, it's oppression. It is, but this is here as well.
Right.
And we got to work on that pieces. We've got to attack that, and so we got to be about that action. Kanye West, we got to be about that action now.
Right.
We got to be intentional. We got to start being truthful. We got to ask the questions to the answers that we do not know, and and support was real.
Yeah.
Man, support was real, and encourage somebody else to do the same.
Yeah. Definitely. And again, my guest is Jamal Whitlow, Shelby County clerk, candidate, owner of Privilege here in the house. We're in Memphis, Tennessee. We're at the Hub Coffee House here in East Memphis inside of High Point Church. And we've had more people join in on the Facebook Live. Reggie Clark, what's going on? Let's see who else. Cassie, how you doing? Latrice, what's going on? How y'all doing, man? Glad y'all could join in. Let's continue on that real quick, Jamal, on the sense of, you talked about being real and you talked about business. I want to share with you kind of one of my thoughts or kind of philosophies that I'm tying the business community to the political landscape in terms of owning what you kind of referred to as the means of production. Yeah, that's a kind of more economic term, but yeah. When I've seen the machine, I've been in Orange Mound, I've been in Germantown.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I've seen how the machine worked kind of from both sides of the spectrum. So what I've seen for those that are kind of involved in the machine is they do a good job of, they pick their candidate, right? They put the resources behind him or her. Mm-hmm. They, in some cases, dictate what the agenda is going to be. Mm-hmm. So you could say, whether they buy their politician, whatever terminology that they want to use. And then if that person don't fulfill what they've set up for them to fulfill, you get the hell out and we get our next person. Mm-hmm. So they kind of control that. They don't allow 30 people to jump in a race
and we should
split it up.
Kind of,
you know what I mean? But we've done that in the past. You know, we take one office, and you get a bunch of people that they just want a job. They want to get the $30,000 a year in the pension. Is what you always used to hear.
Right.
And so they jump in, and they just end up splitting up the vote everywhere because they running all over the place. Whereas sometimes you see what the machine does is, you know, they'll pick a race, they get their candidate, and they put their money together, which is from a lot of times the business community and a lot of different sources we know. But we could talk all day about them sources.
Right.
But you know, so if you want to say the business community unites together and says, you know, we're going to put our money and our resources behind this person, and this is the agenda, and go from there. You know, does that make sense in what I'm saying, or is it maybe a little oversimplified?
I don't think it's oversimplified, and I say that because everybody, like, 1 + 1 is always 2, like, it's hands down, like, so it always, like, you'll do the same thing for your personal business. So what if we did the same thing collectively as independent businesses in the same platform, it'll work. So people get the concept. I just have to go back to, it's about us being dangerously unselfish. It's about me getting on here with the attitude, man, thank you, Ron, for allowing me to share my story on your platform that you've worked 45 episodes. So everybody that's joining on here are the people that I get an opportunity to speak to, that you've done this work for the last year for me to be able to get on here and tell my story without me having to do any of that work. Right? And so it's about me respecting that. And like, okay, that's dope. Like, and now how do I, like, simple, Jamal, put it on your page. Tell people you enjoy doing it. It's not fake. It's just continuing to snowball this level of influence. Like, you're not in competition with me. We're not competition. We're just two guys out here trying to do our thing.
There you go.
And so I think that it's not oversimplified, and it makes perfect sense when we think about a neighborhood, right? And we think about politics and business. Like, when we ride around Orange Mound and we ride around in Oak Haven. And you look at the corner stores that are dilapidated, and you look at the houses throughout the neighborhood that are abandoned. You look at the shopping centers that used to have a Piggly Wiggly in there, got a Bilo or a Save-A-Lot in there now, and a couple other just run down mom and pop things. Like, one, there's been no development money there. Two, we have to question what is the mentality of the individuals there that have allowed this, that are satisfied maybe. With what this looks like. And like, so when we take positions like county commissions, because the beauty, like, gift and a curse. You've got a county commission working for your district. You got a city council person working for your district. You've got a district rep. You got a state senator. You've got 4 or 5 people working for this particular area. We've got to start asking the question, like, not what is your biggest, like, you have to sit at this table with the rest of the people. I get it. But, like, I need to know, is your agenda directly aligned to this neighborhood? And ask the question, how cool are you with the person running for the state rep in this district? How cool are you with the district rep? How cool are you with the state senator? Like, how cool are y'all? Are y'all going to be able to work together coherently for my neighborhood? And then when you sit at the big table, are you willing to work what's good for everybody's neighborhood, including yours, on big issues that matter? Like, this is where we gotta go. Like, that's the part that's the paint piece that I think is missing. And people don't realize, when we look at Highland Road, and when we dig a little deeper into Highland Road, and then we find there's a TIF there. When we find out there's an Orange Mound Development Corporation that's filed for a TIF there, and we're talking freezing tax bases. People being developers borrowing money against what the property should make once you get it. And then you're talking about the increase in revenue pays for the bond, and, like, you still collecting the rent from the stuff that you built. Like, hey, we...
see all the pieces.
Why the neighborhood shopping center didn't get fixed?
You talking about the one in Lamar and
just like
Airways.
any of them. Any of them.
third and belts, and
Who fixing these?
Right.
Like, who's using tax incentives like these tips to take care? Like, so what is not $1 million cash out deal? So what if it's only $150,000, $200,000 maximum profit you make? Like, we cleaning up the neighborhood where our children have to walk, where our young people have to walk, places that can employ our kids, get them off the street and employ them because they can walk to work up the street.
Right.
And people in the neighborhood are invested in it because now they're dreaming again. That's the machine we got to put back together. And black businesses and black influencers and socialpreneurs. Man, we all have to play a part in this, bro.
Yeah.
Can't nobody have a business out here and not have some philanthropy leg, whether you want to give back to kids, whether you want to give back to adults, whether you want to give to housing. You need to have some branch of what you do that gives back to the people that serve you.
Right, exactly. And that's where, you talk about the fiduciary duty of business.
Right.
Right. That it's not just about whether you're for-profit, whatever it is. If you're in business, I talked earlier, I opened the show up with kind of my promo on, the RG Brooks group about wanting to bring in relationship managers. I'm not trying to bring in the same folk that's already out there.
Right.
I want to give an opportunity for someone that normally wouldn't have that. And I think that if we do that, Reginald Clark does that. Chris is doing that out in L.A. Realist does that. I mean, some of the people that are right here on Facebook Live, they're doing some of that right now today. And to your point, we just need more of that and less of the, worrying about who's getting the credit for it and whose faces go be on the flyer and all the frivolous BS that we get to worrying about. And, we get overly competitive, about trying to, like you said, trying to compete against one another on who's going to get this shine. And, I've always said this, man, and you see this week with the whole Kanye thing, which is likes, shares, comments are running so much now.
He trending.
Yeah.
You may go listen to another one of his songs now. Get him another rotation because you just want to hear some old Kanye. Or because you want to hear this new song, or you want to watch Charlamagne's interview, like on his YouTube channel. Like, there's so much been generated off of this controversy like that. It's not to you, or like it's not what you see at first. Like, you're in an uproar, but he getting checks.
Right.
For you to be,
he re-engaged. He re-engaged himself.
He's in the mix of everything.
Right. Even though he's kind of somewhat in prison because he's worried
mad
about.
at him.
Yeah,
we mad at him.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of people mad at him, but then he's worrying about, even as supposedly a free thinker, he's worried about radio. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? But he upset about fashion designers that won't let him in
because you're 45 minutes late.
Right, and then all this other stuff. Radio. He's worried about getting radio plays and L.A. Reid doing this and you know what I mean. So anyway. That's just.
I think we looked up to Kanye more than that, and I think to see him do that has us like, dang, this ain't the Kanye I know.
Right. But see, the thing is,
I know Kanye West that said, man, George Bush don't like black people on MTV. I said,
well,
that's
and the college dropout.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's
early. But
right.
What he's recognizing, even though like I say, you can debate all day long, but he knew that he's gotta, stir it up. That's why now, you don't hear from him. For a long time. When's the last interview he did before this? You know what I mean?
Right.
Most people don't know.
I can't recall.
He's not a guy that jumps out there doing a whole lot of interviews. So when he is,
it's strategic and
it's all strategic. It's all strategic,
right.
And I think I bring that up to tie it to your point. Was we've got to become intentional, like you say, and strategic in how we approach things instead of just being reactive. I think a lot of times we're reactive, or there's a lot more of us doing things because the internet and social media allows more of us to connect. Because 20 years ago to run a campaign, you'd have to print off flyers, you'd have to buy radio ads, you had to buy TV ads.
Right.
You don't have to do as much of that, really, almost none of it. But so I think it allows more of us to get into the game. It also allows. It's just like widening that door up there. More people getting in, but more BS getting in too.
Right.
And we've got to filter more. And I think that if we can get past the little petty stuff sometimes that we have in our community, and this is community-wide, we get so petty about who's this and who's that, and we're comparing likes, shares, comments on everything. I say this all the time, man. It's people that when they wake up in the morning, their first inclination is to pick up their phone and
I
look
at my
you know
phone
what I
in
mean?
the morning. Right.
I mean, that's their first thing. You know what I mean? They don't spend any time with themselves. They don't spend any time with their family. They don't do it. Their first thing is to pick the phone up and start. You know what I mean?
Hold on, see what's going on in the world.
Yeah, see who said what, and who
creates the tone for the day.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got to kind of get back to some of that. When we look to be more than just that. When we look to be facilitators of the edification, and be able to do that together, and not worry about, Jamal's face is bigger on the flyer than mine, or
his name first.
The stuff. It's just like in the church. They get the church bulletin.
Right.
They post. My name ain't in the program.
Right. Everybody's name on here, brother.
Right.
Right. And getting back to that point, just really piggybacking off of, like, again, I'm a big Dr. King fan, right? And really influenced about his positioning and what he said. And I think when we talk about, and again, like, I feel like it's even stronger. We live in a place that shut him down, that put him out the game. And no, it wasn't. And we all know it was planned, the process. The deal is, it was planned here.
Yeah.
Deal is that, yes, we celebrated over 50 years ago, but some of that seed of who helped strategically make that happen still running around.
Right, they are.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they were here for the 50s.
Right. In our faces.
Right, exactly.
Hey, how y'all
and it's
doing?
been coming back.
Right.
Periodically.
And so,
you know what I mean?
But one of the things that he told us when he gave his last speech is like, man, it's true, we got some difficult days ahead. He said, it is not about what happens to me if I help. It's about what happens to you if I don't help. And that is what we have got to remember. Like, we have got to just ride on that notion.
Yeah.
When we talk about our kids, like, I am pretty sure somebody that done you wrong business-wise, or somebody committed and say, hey, I'm coming to the show, then they didn't show up and you didn't put it out there. But, like, that has no bearing over how you treat Jamal. The next client that you bring. Right. Everybody's got to be innocent until proven guilty. Right. And so,
and that's one thing we tend to do is
we be like, whoa.
We vet. We take a holistic kind of general approach, and then we vet down to the micro level.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How many times Target let us down and we go back to Target?
How many times you go to McDonald's and they out of fries, or you go...
Or the milkshake machine don't work. Yo, can I get a milkshake? I'm sorry, milk machine now.
You go to Walmart and the bike way up there, and then you see 2 or 3 people that work there sitting there talking and laughing. Yo, can I get this bike down? Yeah, hold on. And then they go back to talking.
Right.
And then we go back. So we
gotta adapt it. We've got to hold each other accountable. We have got to grab a hold of that pride that we have that has sent chills down other people's spine.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the destruction of the black household and the family structure, not jumping too deep, man, it is our pride that has been ripped out of our culture. Mm-hmm. It is the humiliation in front of the people that we love. Right. We've got to dig deep down in our soul and reclaim that sense of pride in who we are. And so to me, the core of it starts in every neighborhood and every person. How do we build the pride of our communities back together? How do we just make people feel like they are somebody, not because they have a car or they the fastest talker or they maybe have the black person with the green eyes and the long hair.
Right.
How do we just build pride off of knowing that this country was built off the backbone and sweat of your own people? Right. Knowing that you have climbed and overcame the biggest obstacles ever. We like roaches. We ain't going nowhere. You can't get rid of us.
Yeah.
Right. No matter how hard you try. Even when we look at Memphis and we look at the yellow plague or the yellow fever, how the yellow fever ran through the city of Memphis, and they'll tell you, go to Survivors Park and they'll tell you, it did not touch the population of Black America in Memphis. It killed off a predominantly vast amount of white people. Mm-hmm. We aren't going anywhere. We just need to dig deep back in our souls and gain a sense of pride for ourselves.
Yeah, and my big thing is the investment piece of it. Mm-hmm. And you've got to show that people have to see it demonstrated. They got to see that there are going to be people that are going to come in that have their best interest at heart, authentically, and then teach them how to invest in it instead of just watching it, because it's depressing, man. When you're sitting there, if you're sitting there and you're just in the neighborhood or whatnot, you're depressed. It's depressing. No different than some of these folks that are watching maybe this podcast on Facebook Live. Some of them, they may be doing fairly well, but then they're depressed. They're sitting in cubicles right now. They're at work. They know they're not getting paid what they should be. They don't see where the end game is. They don't see how they can work on their business and do that and do different things. So, man, people just have this kind of, depressed state. And, there's got to be those of us that are going to start and help people to show them how to invest. It's like one of the things I do, even in investing in real estate in Orange Mound, is showing people that you don't have to have a bag of money to go in and do that. A lot of these people, I myself, I'm the first one. If everybody else tell a lie, I ain't gonna tell that lie. Listen,
Right.
I don't come in with no Lucky Charms, pot of gold going in doing anything. It's just about network connectivity, and do you have the drive to want to see it done, and do you look for creative, legal, moral, ethical ways to get it done, which there is, and do you align yourself with the right people? And I think when you get the confidence of people, it goes to what you say. Then they start to invest. Notice we get confidence when the Grizzlies make the playoffs, and we go down to FedEx Forum. It's as diverse about as you're going to get, you know what I mean? And you'll get a 65-year-old white lady and a 25-year-old black man to stand for 3 hours and recite Whoop That Trick, and both of them know the lyrics. Both of them.
Right.
The lady and him. They're common now. She's sitting in seat 2C and I'm sitting in seat 2D.
Right.
And we're common, right? Because why? We both bought a ticket. Apparently,
presume we're on the same social level.
Well, even if we're not.
Right.
We're cheering on the same team. So we're unified. You know what I mean? So now we've got confidence. Now if that same white lady walks down Linden and sees him wearing a white T-shirt and black pants and walking towards her, she clutching, right? And she, she concerned. I used to make that joke about Tony Allen. You know what I mean?
Right.
They love Tony Allen, but if Tony were walking towards them on Danny Thomas,
how would you feel?
all bets are off.
Right.
But when you put a Grizzlies jersey on him, he's Tony Allen. We've got to get to where we unite in that same kind of spirit. Because notice during the Grizzlies game, ain't nobody worried. You can be sitting next to a corporate executive. He's not worried about where you from or where you went to high school. Or
he talking to you.
Like that.
Everybody talking to him.
Talking to him.
Right.
You're not worried about where he went to school or where he from or what church he go to or whatever. You unify because you got the same goal. And your same goal is you want to cheer the Grizzlies, hopefully to victory. And you want your favorite player to do well, and you want to be able to walk out and feel good about a win, right? And you go your separate ways when you walk out the FedEx Forum, right? Hey man, have a good one. If you're gonna be here next game, I'll see you then. There's no additional connectivity a whole lot of time, but we've got to get to where we've got that, man. And I really commend you for what you said, because we've got to instill confidence. And when I say we, those of us that are listening to the podcast, those of us that are on Facebook Live, we've got to be able to do that, man.
And I think respect confidence as well.
Yeah.
Respect it when you see it. And I remember I was having a conversation with a couple older guys, and we were just talking, and I was like, yeah, people, some people think I'm arrogant. And he was like, and it was the best answer that I had heard to this question in a long time, because it was different. It was that most of the times when people feel like you're arrogant, it's because they lack the confidence that you lack. And so it's easy for them to call you arrogant than it is for them
to
step
to define it for themselves.
Than for them to step up on their own. And I think we do that to strong people a lot. We'll write you off as arrogant in the midst of us not feeling accomplished compared to you.
Yeah.
Not understanding, and I'm not just saying, oh, this is how everybody feel about me. I'm not saying that at all. But I think we've all experienced in some type of leadership capacity, and we've got to look past that.
Yeah.
We've got to respect a man or a woman for her confidence that she has in herself, confident that he has in himself, that because he believes that he can do it or she believes that she can do it, and so they think and do.
Yeah.
Right. you gotta respect that. One of the what is it? It's like The Alchemist, you know, and it just talks about like if what you hold in your head, you're holding your hand. Mm-hmm. Like you can't be mad at somebody because I think I'm somebody. So when I walk in here, I'm assertive like I am somebody. Right. Like that doesn't mean I'm confident. That just means like no matter what goes down, like no one can stop me from feeling like I am Jay Whitlow.
There you
go. And so we gotta, you know. We gotta take care of our people pride too. Like we can't knock them down because we don't feel it. We just gotta step up.
Right.
There you go.
There you go. Listen, Jamal, man, I thank you so much, man. I appreciate, man. I've enjoyed this, man. I appreciate it. Listen, how can people, you know, that are listening to the podcast or get in touch with you? They're on Facebook Live. You know, maybe they hear something, they want to continue the conversation with you, or they want to support some things that you're doing. How can they get in touch with you?
So you can definitely reach out to me on Facebook. You can shoot me an email. It's JamalWhitlow@gmail.com. I'm personable, you know. I ain't no celebrity. I'm just trying to get stuff done. So if you got a good idea, hey, shoot it your boy way. Let me get involved.
No doubt about it.
And so, you know, hey, those are the easiest ways. I'm always on there. Drop something on my page, and I don't have a problem with that either. Don't just drop anything on my page. Just DM me. Give me my message.
Hit the inbox. Right. The other one.
Right. And thank you, and congratulations on 45 episodes, man. That's
appreciate
really
that.
Dope.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to sit back and watch some more and figure out how we integrate this with the Privilege brand. Like can we just post it on our site? You know, how do we just work together with it?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I want to be able to have you back and kind of get it integrated so we can start building. And that's the whole purpose, really, of the podcast for me. It's not about me, per se. It's me, you know, leveraging a platform to be able to build it so that we can, you know, expose and kind of demonstrate a lot of what we've been talking about today so that people can see it and hopefully be inspired by it as we've been inspired and continue to be inspired. And, you know, for me, I've had great mentors. I've got great, you know, family set up and things like that encourage me and hold me accountable and things like that. And I just want to be able to share that, you know what I mean, with others. So, I mean, I appreciate you recognizing that. And we do need to talk more about how we can integrate you know, some different things with not just us, but many others as well. So we can have, you know, some strength and some muscle in the numbers. So, man, Jamal Whitlow, thank you again so much. Thank you all for joining in on today's podcast, Friday, May the 4th. Listen, look for us. We come every Friday with new episodes every afternoon on the Minding Your Business podcast. Again, themybpodcast.com. www.themybpodcast.com. Look for this on SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play Music, everywhere that you find your podcast content, even on my Facebook Live feed, Champron Brooks. Listen, thank y'all on Facebook Live for joining, and just go and be the very best you that you can be. You're the only you that's ever going to exist. So be the very best you that you can be. Peace out.
That was dope. I feel like I'd be so long-winded.